What's going on? Nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Zane.
Oh man, seriously, we've waited a long time to get you on the couch since you released the last record, and congratulations, it's done so well for you.
Thank you.
You're a journalist that's all over the world, just really off right now. The fans are very, very happy, and so many fans, man. Over 400 questions put on the message board for you guys, so we're going to concentrate mainly on those. I've talked to you way too often this year as it is. So we're going to start. There's a question here from, I'm going to make sure I get the name right. I think this one's from Enter Welshman. Last weekend, a weekend just gone, you headlined Rock am Ring Festival in Germany.
Yeah.
Describe the feeling of walking on stage.
We belong here.
You look like it as well. It was very good.
It was a strange one. We did 2 gigs that day, 2 festivals in 2 different countries.
Yeah.
One at about 5:15, and we left just as the Deftones were going on stage, which was a shame. And then we drove to Germany, and there's about 75,000 people there. You know, we were stepping in for Linkin Park.
Because I was texting you from the side of stage going, there's about 20,000 people. There's about 40,000 people.
That's about 75,000 people. It's like, stop, we know. We're under enough pressure as it is. You know?
You'll be good. No, it was a really
It was
great
going out
moment.
on live TV as well, so we were kind of like, it's a mixture of kind of rising to the challenge and like trepidation and kind of like anticipation, but felt like we didn't put a foot wrong, really.
No, man, it was a perfect Placebo gig, and I can tell you know it because you're dying to smile, and it really was. I mean, you played a killer one. You definitely played a killer. I think you all did, but Steve, I was watching you. You were killing it, man. It was a great show all around, and yeah, it was about 75, 80,000 people, and it was a very proud moment. All right, we move on. Any reason for choosing the name Placebo? Let's go right back in time. And why did you give up the name Ashtray Heart?
Well, Ashtray Heart was a Captain Beefheart song, and it was just kind of a bit long-winded, you know. There was no real reason for choosing Placebo apart from the fact that it sounded good, and you can imagine 40,000 people shouting it in unison, or 75,000 people shouting it in unison, or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't really think about the significance of the name until afterwards, until you start getting asked about it.
And Billy Corgan said the same thing about Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, see, then you have to start making it up, you know, like, well, we like the deceptive quality and the psychological aspect of the name, when in fact we just like the way it sounded.
We're a very anatomical band.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite alcoholic drink? I can almost answer this one for you.
Vodka.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say for you. There's definitely some absinthe. Someone's got an absinthe thing going on.
I had to calm down on the old absinthe, you know.
Champagne was the order of the day on Saturday, gentlemen. Was it not?
Oh, yes.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a really good one called a polar bear, you know, which is kind of like a stoly bolly. You do a mixture of like and that'll get you really flying.
No one's going to see any of that because we have to bleep it out because half our audience that watch this are far too young to drink. One of those questions for Pink Speckled Gecko, something like that. Plenty more to come. All right, Placebo on the couch. This is the brand new video of this picture. Yeahs, goes without saying.
Yeah.
Dig it, love it, more and more.
Grower.
No, they're really amazing. You've heard the album,
Yeah, we've got it, yeah.
What else is on the tour bus at the moment? Someone wanted to know that question.
We're going through a really big dub phase at the moment, so we're listening to a lot of dub, a lot of Dillinger. I just got a new Horace Andy thing. There's a new Dorfmeister and a Coffee Table dub album out.
Listen to DJ Muggs.
Oh yeah, the new record. I've heard like 2 or 3 tracks. Very different. The Rain track really spooked me out when I heard it first.
Yeah, there's one with Greg Dully on it, which is absolutely amazing. I think it's track 8, you know, so it's really worth checking out, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, when I was mucking about with my mates in the studio and making some beats and stuff, and we were saying, God, who would we, ideal guest list of people that we want to get to do guest appearances on our music, and Greg Dully was definitely up there. Incredible. I think he's a great producer as well. I'd like to see what he would do with a band like Ruben or a British band or a Kinesis and see what you could pull out of that. You know?
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, straight back to the message board. Quig 0295. I always pronounce your name wrong, but you know I'm loving you. Now, do you guys like Little Hell as a support band? Where did that come from?
It just comes from friendship, really. You know, we've known Steve Hell from a long time, since the Carrie days, and just kind of like grew out of that. You know, they've had a lot of lineup changes and stuff over the years, you know, but they're just a fantastic kind of classic rock band, really, you know.
And their album, Demonic Advisory Center, is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good.
No, I love it as well.
Clean sleeves.
I know Quee's not really feeling it, but there you go. People on the couch are loving the Little Hell. And also 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster. Now, you guys have good taste in the support bands, man.
Well, you know, they were a sight to behold, really. They're really unbelievable. It's just, that's the idea of like a really good support band, is that you know, you kind of, they're there to vibe you up as a band as well. You know, they're there to get the crowd going, but you watch them and you want to get up there and get get the energy going, and like 80s Matchbox, you know, we're just
out there.
It's genius.
They're so fierce, man. In a way, I mean, I really hope that their record label does the business with this album, you know. But if it doesn't, I would form an independent record label and take out a huge loan and sign them myself. I think
you heard it here first.
Yeah, incredible. Odds of that happening is slim. Okay, this one's from Mrs. Waymart. I've heard a few B-sides that really show a lot of promise as a left field sort of experimental type band. Will you be pursuing more of this with your music, or even do something as a side project?
Well, I think the experimental side has made it onto the album, like with Something Rotten on this, on Sleeping with Ghosts. It's kind of it's always been a part of the band ever since we started, almost 10 years ago. That side to us. I think it's just sort of us getting a bit bored of just sort of playing the guitars and basses and moving on to different instrumentations and sort of other weird instruments lying around in the studio at the time, really.
Do you get bored of your own songs a lot when you have to play them over and over again?
It's not so much the performance aspect of it, you know, because they kind of evolve and they change, and you know, there's an audience and there's an exchange of energy there. It's like going back and listening to your own records is quite painful. Or like when you have to, when a show gets taped and then, you know, you have to approve certain songs, you know, by the next day, and then you have to listen on the bus to your own, to yourself.
And you have to let that stuff go, because you can't do a lot once it's recorded on 2 tracks of tape, you know what I mean? It's pretty difficult.
So you can kind of overdose on yourself, you know. Some people wouldn't actually believe that we'd feel that way about ourselves, but yeah, you know, it's just kind of like you can't.
What do you mean? Look at you! You're perfectionist. Christ, look at how much effort you put in just to come on Gonzo. It's funny because one of the most commonly asked questions, and I won't make this a personal one because everyone wants to know, is why don't you play tracks like Nancy Boy in the set anymore?
Well, it's kind of hard to connect to that era now.
Yeah. Grown out of it in a way.
It's a long time ago.
Different band, different personnel, different kind of like, you know, atmosphere and sort of camaraderie within the band. At that point, it felt like we were sort of like 3 people playing music for themselves, you know, and now we feel like a real unit when Steve joined on the Without You I'm Nothing album. And so you just don't want to lie to the audience by kind of like playing songs that you don't have an emotional connection. Yeah, exactly. You know, but we do a hip-hop version of Teenage Angst now, which and we did start to play Lady of the Flowers a little bit.
You've been threatening this new rap side project for a while now. Whenever I see you, you're always talking about how you got rhymes.
Bad ones. Very bad ones.
All right, Placebo on the couch for the whole day, Gonzo style. We're going to get through as many of these as possible, but given that there's over 400, it's humanly impossible. So we've got to handle our business. Here's today's top 5 list. Let's kick it off. Top 5 cheeses. Number 1 cheese.
Number 1 cheese. Well, it's between Parmesan and Gorgonzola. You know, it's a double top.
Gorgonzola is a rare pick on the couch, I must say. Yeah? So good looking out.
Well, I like a really full flavored, you know, one that kind of knocks your block off.
Crackers or sandwiches? Preferred
crackers, definitely. Yeah.
For me, it's got to be Cheshire cheese.
Cheshire cheese. That's a new one.
Cheshire, right?
No,
Yeah.
Mature cheddar, you know. That
See, I'm with you there, man. I'll give you your props. Mature cheddar. There's always 2 blocks of mature cheddar in my fridge, without a doubt, and a goat's cheese as well.
Or in England,
goat's cheese is good.
I'm lactose intolerant, so I've had to give up cheese.
No.
Yeah, my favorite food, pizza, you know, and stuff. I've had to give it up. Yeah, it's really tough. Life does deal you those killer blows every now and again, you know, and having to give up cheese was one of them.
I could handle giving up many things, but cheese, I don't know if I can go there. Okay, this is a question from Scarletta. What size are you in women's clothes?
I'm a perfect 10.
Right on.
Yeah.
Excellent. What happened with the whole Calvin Klein modeling thing?
Went to New York, did some photographs. They tried to put me in all of this men's gear that was kind of too big for me, and I was like, no, I want to wear skirts and stuff, you know, sort of thing. And they kind of let me, and I think they kind of humored me, and then they just put it in the can, you know. And it never saw the light of day. But I got a lot of free clothes for it.
Right on.
So that was, you know.
Did you get to meet Calv?
Yeah, he was there.
Was he?
He was there. He was very tall, you know, and very sober.
Observations, Calvin Klein by Brian Molko. On Gonzo, something you probably never thought you'd see when this show started 10 months ago. All right, this one doesn't have a name. Oh yeah, Charlotte, here we go. I've got tickets to see you guys play in New Zealand next month.
Whoa.
What's with the whole playing Where's My Mind thing? I think people are a bit confused because you've obviously you've been playing this for a while now, but it seems to be people are concentrating on the Pixies cover now.
Well, it's it's a band the Pixies have influenced us greatly. You know, like they influenced Nirvana and influenced almost anybody with good taste who's kind of like playing music and at least guitar music. You know, and they're just kind of really seminal. And we just played "Where's My Mind," you know, in rehearsal rooms and at soundchecks for ages. We did. It's actually coming out on the single as a B-side, and I think
this picture.
We can, this picture, and we are going to do some gigs with Frank Black and the Catholics.
Really?
Yeah, in the autumn, and so there might be we might do a kind of a duet. You never know.
Have you broached it with his team?
We broached it. Yeah.
Wow.
So that looks like it's going to happen.
Where are these gigs going to take place again? And can I have the day off?
Well, there's definitely going to be one in Paris in October.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's definitely confirmed. So you might have to jump on the Eurostar.
You've got to come up.
It's done, no, absolutely, without a doubt. All right, let's get back in the top 5 so we can come back and ask more questions. More cheese on the cheesiest show, on the cheesiest channel.
Cheesy
in the
peas.
cheesiest country.
Cheesy.
Hosted by the cheesiest man. I won't go as far as to call you a cheesy band because you're my guest.
Trying to get ready for this interview, so yeah, but it sounded cool.
It's great to see you guys. It really is a pleasure to have you on the couch for Gonzo style.
Yeah, Gonzo styling.
Right on, man. I know it. This is the peak of your career to date. To hell with 75,000 people, man. Gonzo's where it's at. Back to the message board. This is from Emo666, I think. Did you hear me singing very noisily and badly at your show at Brixton Academy? The answer's probably no, but do you actually have people putting you off? Like the crowd reaction, sometimes you forget lyrics and you sort of lose your train of thought?
Well, sometimes, so often there's kind of like pendulous breasts hanging over the front row, kind of thing, over the barrier, and that can put you off a little bit.
That Josh Homme does that a lot.
Yeah, and
I always seem to get some kind of weird school teacher, centre, front row, standing there just watching me play, but he's about 50. And you're trying to play it, and this guy's there all the time. But there must be a family of it. I don't know.
Just sitting there going, must try harder.
Yeah.
SP circle.
See me.
See me after class. Exactly. Okay. Let's move on swiftly. 36 degrees. Where did you film the Bitter End video?
it was filmed. It's filmed in.
It was fooled.
It was fooled. Yeah. Well, we filmed it in a studio. Our bit, and then we were placed by computer on this dish, and this dish is actually called Jodrell Bank, which is Cockney rhyming slang for something else, and it's just outside Manchester, isn't it? And it's kind of one of the biggest communication satellites in Europe, and I think it's the one that the Americans use to spy on British people's emails and text messages and telephone calls.
Right, so, okay.
Tell them about what our hotel translated to.
Oh, what, Wild Pork?
The Pork
The Pork Wild.
The Pork Wild Hotel.
While you guys were hanging out on your 5-star tour bus, we were traveling 9 kilometers south to the Pork Wild.
I'm trying to think of what that is in German. Well, can you remember what the actual German is?
Schweinwild.
Schweinwild and Aardvark. I don't know. Brits abroad, Kiwis abroad. Okay, would you ever consider playing Daddy Cool on stage? Am I missing something here? Have you done this before?
Well, probably not. No. It was really a studio thing, and it's just us having a laugh, really, kind of just enjoying not having the pressure of making the album. So in a B-side session, just let's do Daddy Cool for a laugh. Kind of it's kind of constructed in the studio, so we'd have to go back and learn it.
Covers are a tough thing, especially to make into your own. And it seems to me, judging from the reaction on the message board, people like it when you cover things. Especially you're going to tackle the Pixies, you're going to be brave. But everyone's been really respectful about that. I think it's terrible, but everyone else.
There's always one.
Steph, everyone wants to know how your tendinitis is, and a couple of people wondered whether it actually was tendinitis or whether you'd actually gotten to a scrap pre-show.
Oh no! It was for real, but it's getting better. It's just one of those. It's just a nightmare, when it happens.
We keep telling them to stop.
I just have to find someone else to do it for me now.
Okay, what's going on? Where are we going?
You're going into New Sleepy Jackson.
All right, brand new Sleepy Jackson. It's like the second time we played it, I think, or something?
Yeah.
All right, cool. A lot of people talking about this in the office. Well, Will isn't it? The words are confusing. Coming out just 3 days, German rock festival. That's all I have to say. Great.
Mike, isn't it?
What's that? Oh yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, after we left the microphone, right, in the dressing room, I told Brian just before you guys came in that at the end of the evening, after we'd caught up post-show, we stumbled out and left Mike in a toilet on site somewhere as well. So, thank you very much.
The mic. We left it in your dressing room again.
So I was going to have to call you and go, hey, Briz, what's up, it's Zane? Yeah, what's up? You seen that silver case in there?
Yeah, wait a minute, you came and picked it up like 3 hours ago, man.
You also thought one of the highlights was Slim Jim getting banned from your immediate dressing room because he was too wasted.
as far as the foyer, you made it.
Yeah, they made it into the lobby. Yeah.
He was like, sorry, mate.
You're too drunk. The best was that Jim actually apparently went, yeah, no, you're right, I am.
So I'll just go sit down over here and be well behaved.
He was fully, mate, I watched that guy sing half a glass of tequila and it was all over. All right, let's rope it back in. From the message board, how much would you pay to see me in a thong? That's not, you don't have to answer that question.
It depends on what you look like, you know.
No, that's me.
Oh, you in a thong? I think we paid quite a bit. That would be funny.
All right. All right, there you go. That's for Zane in a thong. Freak, what made you choose to include the instrumental of Bulletproof Cupid, given that there are lyrics on another version of it?
Well, there aren't really lyrics on another version. I tried to write lyrics for it, but it's so fast that whenever it came out, it just sounded like Napalm Death. You know, kind of thing. So it felt like it was strong enough to just kind of leave as an instrumental itself. And it couldn't really, it would interrupt the flow of the album, I think, if we put it anywhere else.
It was a really nice touch, I think, was to kick off the album with an instrumental.
Yeah.
I know that Freak agrees. I think that for some reason Freak seems to think that he's heard or she's heard a version with lyrics. But it sounded really good, like, you know, when I saw it on Saturday. It was a really good way to start it off. Strong.
It's a good slap across the face.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Okay, another one from Chocolate Sunday. What motivated you to write Special Needs? It's my favourite song on the album.
Well, Special Needs has kind of been kicking around since around the Without You I'm Nothing sessions. You know, it's one of sometimes you write songs which like The Bitter End, which is written and recorded in 2 days. You know, and sometimes you just work gradually on a song, just let it evolve. You know, and exist within its own time frame. And you know, it's linked to the ghosts of my past and kind of the past relationships, which is kind of what the you know, the whole album is about. Special Needs itself is kind of a tale told from a wheelchair, a sanatorium, kind of a has-been celebrity watching the TV in sort of like the rec room, you know.
Another smooth and easy listening day in the mind of Brian Mulder.
Yeah, and it's turning on the TV and seeing like an ex-partner of his or you know, him or her, you know, kind of like becoming a celebrity, you know, going, wow, I'm washed up now, and like, look at you, you know, and it's kind of like, it's, and then sort of ask the nurse for a cigarette. And
the system now, so it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Evil Groupie wants to know, do you know how frustrating it is for us fans to not know what you're on about at the end of The Bitter End?
Well, I don't actually know what I'm on about, you know, kind of thing. I've done this before, you know, sometimes I kind of call it talking in tongues, really, you know, I guess it's sort of from my religious background. It's just kind of, it's kind of gobbledygook that sounds good, you know, you kind of, in the studio, you sing gobbledygook first and you try and find words for it. Yeah. If you don't, you just leave them. So like the first line and the last line I know, and then the rest is just improvised. There you go, you know, backing vocals.
Now I've offered, and you've blown it way too many times. Any artists, producers, whatever that you guys are really dying to collaborate, maybe on the next album? You work with Jim Abbas on this one. Have you guys, you know, do you sit around on the tour bus and go, God,
a deep fantasy to want to work with PJ Harvey, something like that.
Yeah, to do a duet with Polly would be amazing. You know?
And to be produced by Chuck D.
Yeah.
Like
Hank Shockley, yeah.
Taking the bomb squad into maybe something else, no, for sure. And Josh was just saying how amazing his experience he had doing the desert sessions with Polly as well. And, just saying it was
that would be fun to do, you know, kind of thing. We haven't been back to the States yet, but we'll be knocking on their door.
Okay, Pink Mosh and Cat, what do you think of The Darkness?
It's a bit Bon Jovi for me. Not Bon Jovi. It's just I've never really been a fan of hair bands, you know. So it's just kind of like
I survived it once. I don't really want to go back again.
You know, it's a bit kind of Def Leppard-ish.
That's what I think.
You know?
Yeah, funny because they actually supported them, isn't it? It's kind of a match made in heaven, really. We've got them on the couch in about 2 weeks, and given that I have a very obvious opinion of that band, it's going to be provocative.
Excellent.
Okay, Mr. Molko, were your parents feeling particularly cruel when they named you, or did they have a premonition that you would be the first person in history to make the name Brian cool?
Well, you know, they named me whilst in Europe, you know, unaware of kind of the fact that Brian is probably everybody's favorite uncle's name, you know, kind of thing. So I don't think they were being particularly cruel, you know. It's just kind of they didn't realize that I was going to end up in this kind of situation, living in England and having the taken out of my name. You know?
Not least by us. We reserve that right to do it on
at least Manson changed his, you know, kind of thing. You know, that was clever, you know, but I never really got around to that.
You made it work, dude. You made it work, and you've been awfully patient. I'm really sorry we didn't get a chance to ask all the questions. You guys needed to do a 5-day run on Gonzo, didn't you? Like you would do 5 nights at the Astoria now at your stage.
She can't power.
Well,
it.
I don't think we can all
room.
sleep on the couch, you know, it's not big enough to fit all three of us.
Don't patronise us. You know, we know how well you live. We got you a little gift, and we hope you like it. Thanks very much for coming
Hey,
on.
thanks guys.
Yeah,
Should we open
I
it?
have to open it now, man. Absolutely.
Okay,
you
come
have
on,
to.
as quickly as possible.
Hey, what are we
It's gonna ruin my nails.
We're going to
Every You, Every Me. Excellent. More classic music coming up in a second, but what's even more classic will be the band's reaction when they find out exactly what we've given them.
Bad is bad. Huey Lewis in the news. Power of love. Oh! Right, who's the only one? I don't actually have a turntable. So you get it.
Hey, enjoy. And you know what? We tried to give that to E from the Eels, we tried to give it to Stephen Malkmus, and we tried to give it to Marilyn Manson, so you're keeping that thing.
You love
Thanks
it.
very much.
It's just last night.
baby.
I got a toilet seat from Graham Norton. You know? Yeah. They've been trying to give that to somebody else as well for about 3 months. You know, so
rock and roll toilet.
a guitar toilet seat. Yeah,
It is
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Really?
It is,
That's
yeah.
one of the coolest presents in the world.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry about
Just
that.
like this.
Yeah, right.